Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm just gonna put on my video. There we go. Okay, welcome everyone. This time we have a bit of a shorter time period to use since we are, most of us are attending to a next training which starts at 10. So I have prepared it so that we have a couple of minutes or a good time to move on to the next training after this one. So we are trying to be ready. I'm sorry, the camera is a bit slow right now. Yeah, so we're trying to be ready the latest quarter to 10, about something like that. Once again, this training is recorded and the recording is published in the Resilience Academy YouTube channel a bit later. And all the slides we have are going to be shared through email as well, so that everyone that couldn't make it today then can follow up with the YouTube recording and see the slides that we have used today. Okay, I think that since we have a shorter time today, we are going to start, and if anyone is joining us later, then they can just join the conversation and follow up them. Yeah, once again, nice to see you all here. Today's agenda, or the topic for the training, is activities of CRD data managers. Yes. Okay. So first, as usual, I would like to give you a short update on the other activities that are going on in either Climate Risk Database or Resilience Academy in board. Once again, feel free to ask anything at any point. I'm going to ask after a topic that if there are any questions or comments, then feel free to unmute yourself and to say whatever you have to say, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Also, Masood and Silikale are here today. Hi for you two all, and they can also probably answer some questions if there are something to add to my answers. Okay, first, what is going on around CRD and Resilience Academy currently? Probably as we speak, there is going to be a update of the GeoNode to the next generation, which is why I have some screenshot from CRD, because if there are some updating and the platform is not available to use, then we have at least screenshots in this slideshow. Yeah, that is going on right now. And also the CRD team is seeing some upgrading and other updates for the CRD in the near future, which is why the Map Store is giving a training for the developers today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. That is happening also. Masood, would you have anything to add to this point, or is this everything?
Okay. Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. As you said before, that the news around Resilience Academy right now, based on the journal upgrading. Yeah, we're upgrading our journal to the latest version. which will make sure that the security of the data, backup and restore mechanism, and other issues which is related to data will be more in high performance to make sure that no one can lose data for those who want to upload the data inside of our platforms. So we'll make sure that the latest one will be a good, both security, both interface, both performance and other things like that. And also we have this training after 45 minutes from now. We started training on Mapu Store. One among the packages used to develop a new journal right now. And we have already invited many people from Tanzania here to make sure that they'll join this training, Mapu Store training, especially those who are working with geospatial information system together with developers from different areas. So let's hope things will go the way we expect it to be. This is like a continuation of other training which we did from end of January this year in Finland with these guys, Geo Solution. So we'll finish the training with this store training. So once we finish that one, meaning that we have already managed to work out the full system of GeoNode, both a backend, a front end, Pythons, MapleStore, and others that they are related. I think that is enough to me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Masood. Yes, it's really important to get these updatings and upgradings for the GeoNode to function it properly and to make it the best platform for this kind of data sharing. Pretty important. And if there are anyone in this call that would like to participate to the next training and haven't actually heard about it, it's a developer state training, Map Store, and related closely to CRD, then probably Masood would be the one to ask your questions or answer. Okay, the next news that are going on right now are the micropayments pilot, which is going on right now, that it's more towards the end currently. And there are tens of students engaged to work in these microtasks that are related to identifying building heights or building floor numbers just by looking at some street view images, and then a kind of huge data set is then developed from there. The students are getting paid in when they have done the tasks they have in hand, and this is actually a pilot. It is piloted the first time with the company that is the client, and yeah, that is going actually quite well, and students have really been engaged, and we'll see how is the performance and what is the quality of the data when the pilot is more towards the end. And the next one is the Visualization Challenge 2020. Is also a Resilience Academy activity that has been launched quite recently. There is still application time for the students to participate in groups to create actual visualizations for mainly TERP and the World Bank clients. And yeah, there is still a week and a few days for them to apply, and we are waiting still some groups to apply and take part in the Visualization Challenge. At this point, I could ask if Silicala, do you have anything to add, or should I continue?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I think we've covered. Maybe I just wanted to highlight on the micropayment pilot project that we're doing. We're both also visualization challenge. Both of these under the Resilience Academy is just really to give an opportunity to Resilience Academy community, especially the students and also the professors or young professors, to to learn, but also to know what skills have been there by experiencing the really challenges that, for example, students that are doing. In our visualization challenge, we have really challenges that are happening in Dar es Salaam, in Zanzibar, and students are going to look into these challenges and then make their visualization for the client. And the micropayment work as well is also an opportunity where, because of Resilience Academy, we got an opportunity to give students who have learned different skills to work on these micropayments, but also get paid. And it's kind of really good continuation of what we have been doing from skill development to make the students being really employable by getting required skills that could make them get employment. Thank you.
Thank you, Silikale. Yes. Okay. Okay, let's continue with the actual topics of today. And we're trying to be ready in about half an hour. So I'm going to present the topics, and of course, don't hesitate to ask anything. And if I don't remember to ask if you have any questions, then feel free to interrupt me and then comment if you have anything. Okay. So the activities of CRD data managers there are various tasks and activities, but I have highlighted here the main tasks of this role. The first one is to control the quality of the datasets that will be uploaded to Climate Risk database. These datasets can be anything from TERP projects, from consultants and firms that have created datasets for different kind of projects, or they can also be researchers or the students from the internship training or other sources. But it's important that we systematically control the quality of the datasets, of all the datasets that are uploaded to CRD. I'm going to present these a bit more in detail in this next slides. The next one is to act as a link between the data providers and the Climate Risk database. And here the Climate Risk database refers to the platform itself, and also the developers community and the other community of the CRD, which includes, for example, the data users. It is important that there is a solid and qualified link between all of these actors, and the data managers will be that link. And the third activity is to disseminate the content of CRD, which just means that the CRD data managers will create, for example, some posts or data stories or other kind of dissemination that will reach the potential data users or providers, just to make the content of the platform or the database a bit more visible, so that it can be found by the potential users, not by them searching themselves, but also that we can reach to them. And this is an important task as well. Okay, I will go a bit more detail to the first task or the activity, and then we can have some comments and questions throughout. Here is the same diagram that I have showed before, and it's in other Resilience Academy sources as well. This shows the overall management structure of the whole service and the data flow as well. I have this black box is surrounding the data manager in this flow, but there are also the contributors who might contribute by uploading layers or documents and so on. And they're also browsing the different data sets and different stories shared and so on. Then comes the data managers. These are mainly the same activities that I have already listed in the previous slide. And next there are publishers, which are just quite frankly doing the final check of the data sets that are approved or other documents and so on, and are the ones that are then publishing the data actually. Then there is the CRD management team, CRD managers who will be managing different groups in climate risk database, also the group of data managers. And then there are the IT system management, and those will be the ones that are maintaining the actual platform and doing updating some upgradings that we have discussed today as well. And there is important that there are communication between all of these groups, which is always the key to the functioning system. Then, so that is something really important to the data managers to do as well, communicate with the whole community. Here I have made a bit more detailed flow of the activities of data managers, specifically related to the data flow. First, in this graph, there are two boxes that are not activities of data managers, which is why they are a bit more lighter. I'm just hoping that you can see them. It's not too light. So there is data production, which is obviously done by the data producers and contributors. And when it's done, there is a data delivery to CRD data managers. There is still debate how we're going to do the delivery. There has been hope from the World Bank side and the TERP contractors that the delivery of the data would be through email directly to the data managers, so that the data producers wouldn't be the one to upload the data. That has been something that have been commented that would be the more ideal way to deliver the data for the data producers side. And when we have received the data managers will run the quality control for the received data. And if there are any issues found in the quality control, then they will communicate back to the data producer, ask if there are any issue fixing or some clarifications for the problems found. So the data producer has the opportunity to fix those issues. But of course, we require the data producers themselves to run a quality check before delivering the data. So we would avoid the the biggest issues if there would be any. So yeah, but if there are any, the communication back to the data producer is really, really important. Next one is approving the data, and if the data isn't uploaded to CRD yet, then of course uploading there as well. And as the previous slide showed, there would be the publishing by the publishers of CRD, which is why the box is in lighter color here as well. And after the data is published in CRD, the task of the data managers is, of course, to store the data and metadata in backups currently we have all the datasets in C file and the metadata in a large spreadsheet in Google Drive. So both are cloud services, which means that if there is going to be some updating of GeoNode and something happens that the datasets are lost from there, then we have the backups, which is of course really important. And yeah, when the data is in CRD, then we would love to see dissemination, and this can be just creating some posts or creating maps, for example, out of the datasets if there aren't any maps produced by the data provider. And last, of course, if there is some updating of the data by the data producer, for example, if there is a yearly update for the data, then the task is for the data managers to replace the old file and update the data and do some modifications if they are needed, and just keeping everything current and up to date so that the datasets are reliable for the data users. And then I have added the last box. It's below this all, which is communicating with CRD platform developers with platform-related issues and needs. Of course, this can be is working from both sides. But yeah, if there are anything that the data managers notices that would be a functioning or modification or anything to the platform, then of course communicating to the platform developers is the key channel to meet those needs and modifications. Are there any questions at this point before I go more in detail to the quality control? Okay, let's move on then. Yeah, so the quality control, which was the first activity listed for the data managers. There will be two kind of documents for the data managers to utilize when doing the quality control. Is the quality control instruction, which this is the screenshot of it, and the quality control report template. I will go a bit more through both of these. The quality control instructions. Currently, we have identified 14 steps. Some of them are quite quick to do, doesn't require any GIS tools or anything. For example, here in the screenshot, the first one is that all compulsory metadata is filled. That is the quality indicator, and which doesn't require any tools to check it, just to go through the metadata and see that all the required fields are actually filled in by the data producer. But then there are other quality indicators. For example, the third one that is visible on this screenshot as well, which is the spatial geometry of the dataset has good connectivity. In other words, the topology of the vector data is good. And this requires GIS tools to check this, which is a bit more time-consuming than probably others. But we have tried to use tools that are mostly automated and doesn't require too much time and I mean manual work. And this identifying these tools is still work in progress, to just to find the best ones to use. But most tools that are in these instructions are based in QGIS, and they are open source. But of course, if a data manager is more profound to use ArcGIS, then of course that is possible as well. Yeah, there are 14 steps identified right now. They have the same structure as the data standards that has been introduced previously, and the structure of the instruction is that there is the quality indicator, which are just small kind of indicators, and then there are tools listed that are suggestions what to use when checking that the quality indicator is met. And then there is instruction, just a short narrative of how to run the quality check for that specific quality indicator. And this instruction is for internal use, but since we are trying to be as transparent as possible, then of course we share these instructions in CRD as well, so that everyone has the access to these. But this is more in internal use. The next resource is the quality control report template, which has the same structure as the instruction. There are the same quality indicators. Then there is, in the third column, there is this OK checkbox, and then there is a comments field also. And basically, when the data managers runs the quality control, they check the quality indicator. Okay, all compulsory metadata is filled. That is the quality indicator, for example, that they check. And if those metadata fields are filled that needs to be, then they can just tick the OK checkbox that, okay, this quality indicator is met by the dataset. However, if there are any issues, inconsistencies, problems, anything, then they can leave a comment of what is the problem related to that quality indicator, just to record the findings for the data producer, but also to the possible data users. Here, for example, I tested these quality indicators and this quality control for the datasets of administrative wards in Dar es Salaam. And there I found that there is some more metadata needed for a couple of compulsory metadata fields, which is why I didn't put an X on the OK checkbox. So I just gave a comment which fields are those that would need more information in order just to give a comprehensive image of the data. In some occasions, as this screenshot shows, there is an X in the OK checkbox, but there is also a comment. For example, the third quality measure, spatial geometry of the data has good connectivity. I ran the topology check for the dataset, and I found over 400 errors. But then I fixed those errors and run the topology check again, which gave a zero result, and then this quality indicator is met. So I could put the X on the box. But I just gave this comment to give the users indicator of what has been done for the dataset. Just just a bit more about the lineage of the management of the data. And yeah, since when the quality control is done and the report has been filled in completely, this report is uploaded to CRD as PDF and linked to the dataset in question. Just for published and so that everyone can see it. Just to, yeah, this is the main source for the data users to know more about the quality of the data, in addition to the metadata of the data as well. Would you have any questions about these two resources at this point? Or comments or anything? Yeah, just remember you, if you have any questions, then feel free to unmute yourself and we can go along with the question. But if not, I will show you just quickly in the how these documents look like in CRD. These are screenshots, since I didn't know if the GeoNode is running. Yeah, when the quality control document is uploaded to CRD, there is an option to link the data to a specific dataset, or link the document to this specific dataset. And here it was the Dar es Salaam administrative wards. As you can see, there is a list of documents related to this layer, and since there aren't any other documents, this quality report is the only one. And it is visible for everyone to see. It is published and it is clickable as well. So if I just click the dataset, I mean the document, it guides me to the document page, which should have some metadata about the document as well, when it was created, by whom, and what is the purpose of it, and so on. So I have filled in the metadata, and the document can be downloaded by clicking the link I have circled, or downloading the document from the right. Yeah, since this PDF, it opens up in my browser, I only have these screenshots again, since I didn't know if the GeoNode was working, but here are only half of the report, but still, this is the filled-in report. It has my initials, the date when it was created, and the statement of in which dataset is related to. And of course, if any issues has been found and this report is published, but the data producer does some modifications for the data, then of course this report will be updated accordingly as well. Yeah, okay, do you have any questions related to publishing the quality control reports? These are actually published, so you can check them yourself as well later. I tried to record how much time it took to run the quality control. It depends on the dataset. On this data, since there were some errors, but not too many, I was done in 40 minutes about, but then I ran in another quality control for another data, which was a bit more complicated, and it was about an hour that I worked with it. Yeah, okay. I see a raised hand by Musa. Please, if you have any questions, then you can unmute yourself and yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for the good presentation. I really want to know, on your side, you have a tool for quality control, as you have presented here. But I really want to know, what is the big challenge that facing these producers when delivering or when decide? I mean that what is the big problem that facing these dataset producers to CLD? Because I have seen that on your side you have a tool for quality check, but for the producers, I want to know if they are facing some challenges, or if you have faced some challenges from these producers.
Thank you. Very good question. Probably the problems are more related to producing the data itself. The platform is quite intuitive and it's quite easy to use. Of course, most of the data sets that are published in Climate database has been uploaded by the CRD experts. So we don't actually have, I haven't heard any problems from the data producer side when uploading the data to CRD, but most certainly the biggest problems for the data producers has been creating the data set in such a quality that would could go through this quality control. For example, the spatial geometry is probably quite a task to tackle for the data producers if they have used some specific tools that doesn't allow a very good quality spatial geometry for the dataset. Then yes, those are things that I have encountered when running the quality control. But addition also creating a good metadata is also has been a challenge. But yeah, through this quality control and also the standards that we have developed, we are trying to tackle these issues and also guide the data producers to create such a data that would go through this quality control, so that every quality indicator is met already. That has been probably the main issues, and with these we are trying to tackle them, and we are hoping that we are going to be very efficient. But from our side, probably making the whole process as fluent and automated. I mean that there wouldn't be too much going back and forth, and everyone knows how the data flow process goes. That is probably the issue that we have been doing, and yeah, that is something that we have tackled also by creating these quality control guides and tools and standards. So yeah, it's kind of a two-way issue, and hoping that with these we can tackle both of them. Yeah, thank you. It was a really good question, and it's good for me as well to ponder these. Yeah, if you have any other questions, then you can also use the raise hand. I should see the hand raised in the list. So Gideon, I can see that you have also. You can unmute yourself and go ahead. Thank you.
Hello, Venla. Thank
Hi,
you
Gideon.
for the nice presentation. I like the tool and the way that you organized the quality control report. It's quite good work and very clean work. And as I've seen from my own perspective, it's like this document could be a good knowledge generator, kind of the way you are solving, especially those errors, and the way you actually update them. If it's possible, then you can really document those, how you have approached and which kind of tools that you've used, so that for the next time, or for the students, when they read, whatever they face some kind of challenge, then they can find some knowledge within these documents. And that is my only suggestion, that maybe you can use it as a to document the knowledge that you actually have used, some tools that you've used to actually fix those errors and to make the data more to have a good quality. So I think it's good that from there, then later we can generate some good lessons or some kind of good document for teaching and solve the problem with data. Because I know those who are collecting data from the field, they may not deal with those data perpendicularly in the way they are supposed to be and to produce a good quality data. But with this document, I see some good opportunity out of it, that we can generate a good knowledge document for the students to actually produce a good quality data. That's my suggestion, if it's possible.
Yes, this is really important note. Thank you very much, Gideon. And yeah, it's really good suggestion that we provide this information straight to the students, so that they can, to begin with, they create good quality data, even though they are young professionals. But when they really get engaged to data producing, then they would have this knowledge as well already in their hands, and they know where to find it. So that is actually, since Resilience Academy is holding, they are creating and hosting this digital online learning materials for students, for university students, then these things would be great to integrate to those modules that we have actually created. So that is really, really good suggestion. But of course, to disseminate this information to students' other channels as well, it would be really good. Yes, thank you, Gideon. The next slides are more related to the other activities of data managers. I have only a couple of slides of them. Sorry about this, there are no images here, just text. But I just wanted to list down about other information for the quality control, some modalities. All the information that I have presented here will be provided through CRD and Resilience Academy website. These are in progress. And hoping that through the upgrading of the GeoNode, we can then upload this information to CRD as well. And about the data managers' work, they will work as a group with a single manager of data managers. This hasn't been identified yet. It is currently me, but since my work is temporary, I am only to the beginning of next year working in Resilience Academy. We need to identify a long-term manager of data managers, which is work in progress. And we are, of course, eager to hear your suggestions as well, if you have any. This is something that we will get back to later. Working hours in month is not yet known. Depends on the number of projects where data is produced. If there are, for example, an industrial training going on where students create their own data for clients in many numbers, then of course there is more data sets to quality control. But of course there are the other activities for disseminating and communication also. So this is just, I will create some kind of an approximation for the data, for the time to use, but this is still not yet known. just for you to know where we are at. And I was thinking that when we have identified some data managers, then there will be a next chat between the data managers. Of course, the roles of data managers can be quite fluent as well, that new members can be trained in when needed. And yeah, these are some modalities that are still being identified. And if you have any comments and suggestions, then please feel free to, for example, ask me through email or give your comments through email or WhatsApp. About the other activities, I have only one slide per activity. The second activity was to communicate between data providers and the CRD community. And these are, I have tackled these probably most, but one that I haven't is related to the TERP projects. Every time a data producer is contracted by the TERP, it would be really nice to provide the data provider a name of a data manager of CRD, who they can be in touch with and whom they can deliver the data when it is produced. Or alternatively, there could be a list of data managers in the CRD website from where the data producers will find all the information, emails, and the name of data manager, so that they just know and find who to contact. Yes, receiving data, that has we already talked about, but the communicating back to data providers in quality issues is important, but also acting as the link between possible data users and data providers if the users have any questions related to the data. Since all the datasets produced, for example, in TERP activities are owned by the World Bank, there might be some contact information about the data producer in the metadata of that dataset in question. But if there, for some reason, aren't, then it is important that the data users still find someone to contact if they have any questions about the data. Then they can contact the data manager, who then will guide the data users to the right address from where to ask the questions if the data manager isn't able to answer the questions themselves. So yeah, just working as a communications link is key here. And the last one was the dissemination. I haven't listed here any strict guidelines, since this is something that the data managers themselves can also innovate. They probably have some ideas, but the idea is just to bring the data sets published in CRD forward and more accessible, and just to let the whole community know about the data sets. This can be just creating maps of the shared data sets or creating data stories for blog posts. This can be done together with the data producers if possible. Creating social media posts and providing assistance to researchers if they are looking for some specific data sets, then through dissemination, the data managers can assist the researchers as well. And anything that comes in mind just can be added to the list. I think I don't have any content slides anymore. So if you have any questions related to dissemination or communications, then please go ahead. You may comment or ask if you unmute yourself. Okay. Here is the timetable of the next sessions. We are planning to have a training for future GeoNode developers. It depends on timetables of ours and the amount of work we are having currently. But if it is going to be in August, then we will let you know. But most definitely, there will be probably a topic of practices for data providers in August as well. And this will be also the TERP people who contracts the possible clients will also be invited to this one. So, but yeah, the next ones are still a bit question mark, but these will be shared with you in good time advance through email. And as said, the slides are shared through email, and the recording is published in YouTube channel of Resilience Academy. I did have a poll in this. Let's see how it works. Yes. If there are any participants in this call that would like to be interested in becoming a data manager, then you may tick the yes box. If you don't have to tick anything. I just had to add 2 options for this poll so that we can identify those who might be interested in the data manager role and then contact them later. But of course, we can ask about this through email channels and other channels as well when we are having all the modalities found out and more clear. Yes, good, great to see. And I think that is everything that I have prepared for this. The next training is starting in few minutes, so I am releasing those who are attending to the next one. Thank you for joining. If you have any questions and comments now, then feel free to ask or comment. Otherwise, thank you very much. Okay, I can see some members who are interested in the position of data manager, which is really